Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the second victim of the gas leak incident at the Woodland Pulp Mill has now been identified. Plus, the Belfast City Council passed a proposal to increase ambulance service rates for neighboring towns under contract. We'll have more on that coming up. And Troy Jackson, who's running for governor, met with voters last night in Orono. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. For the weather today, it looks like it'll be another sunny day with temperatures in the 30s. Let's start out this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a quality automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that will be expiring this morning. We've been watching for some active surf that has been occurring along the coast. Meanwhile, as we do move forward, not too bad as we start things off this morning. We will be seeing a lot of sunshine outside yet again, so overall another nice day to get outside. As we do zoom things out across the northeast, things are looking pretty calm. A little bit of activity further off to the south and west, but overall nothing too crazy going on overall. But as we do move things forward, lots of sunshine again today. You may notice a few passing clouds. Overnight, some clouds, maybe some areas of dense fog too. A lot of that going away until about Friday afternoon. We'll get some more clouds moving in. Before today, again, we'll have a few bits of wind, but nothing too ridiculous. That wind backing off as we head towards Thursday evening. But your hourly forecast moving forward, lots of sunshine today. Temperatures in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, the second victim of a gas leak incident at the Woodland Pulp Mill has been identified. A spokesperson for the mill in Baileyville confirmed yesterday that the second employee succumbed to their injuries from the gas leak incident was 26-year-old Alan Hornberger. Hornberger was an employee at the mill. He died on Monday morning, and his death was confirmed on Wednesday. The spokesperson said in a statement that Hornberger was, quote, a valued member of the mill's technical department where he served as a process engineer, end quote. That incident also claimed the life of UMaine student Casey Malcolm. A Blue Hill man was sentenced Tuesday in U.S. District Court in Bangor for lying on a firearm purchase application. According to court records on June 8, 2023, 22-year-old Caleb Rhyme was indicted in Hancock County Superior Court on one count of aggravated trafficking in scheduled drugs. Then on May 5, 2024, Ryan attempted to purchase a firearm from a federally licensed dealer in Ellsworth while he was still under indictment. Ryan filled out a form required by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and checked no for the question that asked if he was under indictment for a felony or any other crime punishable by more than a year of incarceration. He was able to successfully buy a gun a few days later. Ryan was sentenced to 12 months and 1 day in prison, as well as 3 years of supervised release. Meanwhile, a rise in political threats against Maine lawmakers has prompted new legislation to be introduced in Augusta. LD 695 is an act to improve safety in public service. A statement says the number of threats against lawmakers of both parties has tripled over the past 2 years. Senate Majority Leader Teresa Pierce sponsored the bill and says, quote, democracy is at its best when everyday Mainers answer the call to step up and serve their communities in the State House. But all too often in today's political climate, safety concerns present too barrier to public service. It is incumbent upon us, regardless of party or creed, to reject political violence and threats, recommit to respectful debate, uphold American values, and recognize one another as fellow citizens. I am hopeful this bill will provide strong safety measures for those who choose to serve and to help Maine's democracy remain strong, end quote. Well, local people and union members delivered a petition to Senator Susan Collins' Bangor office regarding the firing of civil rights attorneys. The petition claims the firing of the so-called Fair Housing 3 from the Housing and Urban Development staff was direct retaliation for submitting a whistleblower complaint. It says the complaint outlines troubling actions that include a 70% reduction in staff within Hood's Office of Fair Housing that has left the department's civil rights attorney unable to process even the most urgent cases. The petition also states millions of congressionally mandated grants for community-based fair housing enforcement have also been delayed or canceled. According to the petition, it puts veterans, domestic violence survivors, low-wage workers of color, and those with disabilities at risk.
These are our public servants. They work for us. And when they're fired, that means that anybody who stands up for us is at threat. And we think this is simply wrong.
The group says they are asking Senator Collins to hold Hood Secretary Scott Turner accountable and make sure the whistleblowers are rehired. Starting later this year, towns who utilize Belfast ambulances will be paying more for that service. Our Doug Banks with that story.
All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
On Tuesday, Belfast City Council unanimously passed a proposal put forth by City Fire Chief Patrick Richards to increase ambulance service rates for the neighboring towns under contract with them for the next 2 years.
It was time to reevaluate and come up with another contract.
The towns of Northport, Belmont, Morrow, Waldo, and Swanville are currently under contract with Belfast for their ambulance services. According to Chief Richards, a base rate was first needed for the new contracts. He says last year's operational budget, divided by last year's total runs, determined its cost per call to be just over $500. That number was then multiplied by the town's call volume. Data provided by Chief Richards shows the total number of EMS calls each town had last year, and what each town is currently paying for the city's resources. Once year one of the city-approved contract goes into effect, these numbers increase significantly. Even more so, by year two, the rate increase coincides with Belfast's rise in emergency calls. In the last decade, Chief Richards says emergency calls increased by 38%. Over 2,500 ambulance calls occurred last year alone. He says the costs of apparatus, equipment, supplies, and demand for staffing have all risen as well.
This new rate will more evenly disperse the cost of the ambulance service to our subscribers, so it won't be the city of Belfast picking up the shortfalls, when it comes to budgetary expenses.
Officials from two of the impacted towns spoke with us over the phone on Wednesday. Waldo Select Board member Tom Wagner says while he understands the rate increases, quote, wages and incomes for the town are not keeping pace, end quote. In Belmont, its fire chief and EMA director, Ron Harford, told me, quote, Belfast does a great service. It costs money to run ambulances. I can understand why it has to go up, end quote. Chief Richards says the new rates will take effect on July 1st. In Waldo County, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, Mainers had the chance to speak directly with policymakers about mental health advocacy. On Wednesday, the Consumer Council System of Maine held Mental Health Peer Advocate Legislative Education Day at the State House. The public was invited to engage with and educate Maine lawmakers on improving Maine's mental health care system. Since 2016, the event has allowed those who have lived experiences with mental health to influence the laws that impact them directly.
It's a good reminder for all of us as the relevance of peer support and also people representing the communities that we seek to serve in mental health. Those are people who really represent the cause. They really understand in a different way what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone who struggles or has mental health challenges.
Outreach coordinator for CCSM, Simone Mallon, told us the event is a learning opportunity for both parties. They hope to get lawmakers informed about Mainers' concerns, but they also want to familiarize advocates with the system so they can also make a difference themselves. Stover agrees everyone needs to dig deeper into the issue.
We need to be more cognizant and aware of the needs of people with mental health challenges, beyond the funding, beyond reimbursement, really to understand the emotional, psychological, physiological challenges that they face every single day.
Well, Maine gubernatorial candidate Troy Jackson met with voters in Orono last night. Jackson headlined a town hall hosted by the University of Maine Graduate Workers Union, speaking with past and present students, graduates, and community members. Attendees presented questions and concerns centering around workers' rights, affordability here in Maine, access to health care, and Wabanaki sovereignty, and much more. Jackson says his campaign focuses largely around working-class Mainers.
Yeah, well, Maine's definitely a low-wage state. People get by and people need assistance. They need help. They need somebody to fight for them, and that's something that I understand very well. And that's why I'm running for governor, because I think that too often they're getting left behind.
We need to send people up in government that really represent us and that, we can build with and who are also accountable to us.
Jackson will face fellow gubernatorial hopeful and Republican Bobby Charles in a debate in Auburn on February 25th. We did attempt to reach Charles for comment, but heard no immediate response. Charles will host a town hall in Skowhegan this afternoon. The time now is 6:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a Lubec home is now available on the Down East Coast. We'll show you the home listing coming up. But first, let's get another look at our forecast. For today, we have mostly sunny skies with temperatures in the mid-30s. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy with temperatures dipping to the single digits. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, highs around 34. We'll be right back.
It's tournament time, and ABC7 is your home for tournament coverage. Watch ABC7 News at 6 and 11 for all your highlights and interviews as our high school teams go for that gold ball. And get the latest high school bracket information at WVII.com.
Brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 30 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holden, great quality furniture and Bangor's largest in-stock mattress selection. Free statewide delivery.
From pop music legends Cyndi Lauper and Broadway's Harvey Fierstein, Kinky Boots, the Tony and Grammy-winning feel-good best musical about seizing your destiny and being who you want to be. Be inspired by the Broadway show that has captured hearts around the world. Kinky Boots, March 3rd, Cross Insurance Center. On sale at Ticketmaster.com.
Do you own a business or nonprofit in the state of Maine? Annual reports can now be filed online. All business and nonprofit entities on file with the Secretary of State's office must file an annual report to maintain a good standing status. The annual filing deadline is June 1. Questions? Contact the Corporations Division at 207-624-7752 or cec.corporations@maine.gov. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Legislation is being advanced that supporters say will protect access to critical vaccines in Maine. Senate President Maddie Daughtry sponsored LD 2146, which she says is a direct response to instability in federal vaccine policy over the last year. According to a statement, the bill allows the Maine Vaccine Board to seek funding through the state budget process to uphold Maine's commitment to vaccination access. It also clarifies malpractice liability protections for pharmacists who are administering those vaccines. Daughtry says, quote, "For Maine families, vaccines are about keeping our kids healthy, protecting our older neighbors, and ensuring communities can thrive. This bill provides stability and clarity so that political uncertainty at the federal level does not disrupt life-saving care here at home." If you are interested in a chance to join the state's lucrative Elver industry, you need to apply soon. The deadline is 4:30 p.m. this Friday, February 20th, which is tomorrow. 20 Maine residents will get a chance to enter the lottery for an Elver license for the upcoming season that starts at noon on March 22nd. The lottery was established by the legislature in 2017. They also set a cap of 425 state-issued licenses. The 20 that are available are the result of licenses that were not renewed in 2024 and 2025. Each new license holder will get a 4-pound quota, and the Elvers can be worth thousands of dollars per pound. You can enter the lottery online at maine.gov/Elver Lottery. If you've ever dreamed of owning a slice of Down East Maine without writing a $1 million check, this Lubec property might be your shot. The 5,000 square foot building is listed at $849,000 and sits right in downtown Lubec. It includes both commercial and residential space, making it a unique opportunity for someone looking to live and work along the coast. To see the full listing, head to foxbangor.com. The time now is 6:15. After the break, we'll dive into the national conversation surrounding the proposed tax on billionaires. Plus, a farm in Troy is still keeping kids busy on their school break. We'll follow them along as Good Morning Maine continues.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
When lives are on the line, they don't hesitate to run towards danger. Unfortunately, the same gear that protects them from deadly flames can be hazardous to their health. Senator Susan Collins to the rescue. Susan helped introduce legislation that protects firefighters and first responders from cancer-causing forever chemicals in their equipment. Because their job is dangerous enough. Call Senator Collins and thank her for protecting Maine's first responders.
He was released from prison. He needed a car to sort of get back on his feet.
Taken for a ride by her ex-con boyfriend?
Your car, but it was in her name. You want to tell me why it was in her name?
Before I got out, she said we was going to be together and we needed a family car.
But now the love is gone.
I got so fed up with all the tickets, the late payments, and he sent you a vulgar text.
She did send me a phone.
Excuse me, she's talking to me.
Next, Judge Judy.
Thursday at 5 on ABC 7.
While students have the week off from school at the Windy Ridge Farm in Troy, class was very much in session. The lessons, however, came with hooves, snouts, and a whole lot of hay. As our Alex Schley tells us, the barnyard where the kids were invited to trade in their books for feed buckets and get a hands-on education.
Goats and other goats and sheep, and they also got pigs. And he just touched the water and he goes, "Arr!"
Wednesday, the Ashbury family opened their Troy farm to the public, inviting families to step inside the pens and experience farm life up close.
And it's a good way for kids to come see the animals, see what it's kind of like to have animals.
In addition to getting to meet all the animals.
He likes doing this. Oh, he likes me.
Sydney Ashbury, who runs the farm with her parents, says they use the tour as an opportunity to educate kids about everything from understanding animal care to learning about how life on a farm really works.
Anywhere between an hour to 2 hours for doing chores. And then I just check everyone throughout the day. If anyone needs cleaning, I clean their pen. And then night chores, which is about the same, between 1 to 2 hours.
She says they also talk to kids about where food comes from, bridging the gap between the barn and the dinner table. If you missed Wednesday's event, don't have a cow. The farm is hosting similar events Friday and Saturday. They're also open throughout the week, offering farm fresh products and even animals for sale.
Whenever we have baby bunnies, we sell them. They're ready to go at 8 weeks. We sell bacon and pork, like we do have in whole pigs. And we sell beef. We do have milk, and we got eggs.
So whether you're looking for a little hands-on learning or just to stock up on local goods, check out Windy Ridge Farm. In Troy, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 6:19. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. That small craft advisory will be expiring this morning. We've been dealing with some active surf along the coast, which will be going away rather soon. We're still seeing wave heights at around 3 to 5 feet, so we'll see if they decide to do anything with that, at least beyond 7 a.m. this morning. But for now, though, wave heights even higher further out towards sea at around 3 to even 7 feet at this time. But meanwhile, on land, no issues with clouds or anything. We'll see a lot of sunshine today. You may see a few passing clouds. Otherwise, that's about it. Let's zoom things out, and we're seeing kind of the big picture. Some areas seeing some snow across parts of the upper Midwest, some rain farther down toward the south, a little bit of energy across parts of the Northeast. Nothing too ridiculous at this moment in time. Lots of sunshine for us today, maybe a few passing clouds, some clouds, areas of dense fog, and a couple spots overnight. But as we do head towards your Friday, again, a lot of this will transition to a mostly cloudy sky during the afternoon period. Overnight, Friday night into parts of Saturday, some snow, but a lot of this will stay to the south with a little bit of high pressure, some dry air intrusion to the north, and then again, not looking too bad, again, moving forward from there. So with that dry air intrusion, again, farther off towards the north, again, that area will stay dry. Farther down toward the south, a little bit of snow. They could see 1 to 3 inches there. Farther off towards the north and east, a whole lot less, and nothing once you get toward this area. But for today, here's what we're looking at. So mostly sunny, mid-30s, northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. By tonight, 6 degrees, partly cloudy, northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. And then we move ahead towards tomorrow, mid-30s. We get more clouds in here, mostly cloudy, northeast wind at about 5 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. So by Friday night, we'll get that snow in here with low temperatures near 7 degrees. By Saturday, the snow is out of here and mostly sunny. Highs in the low 30s, mid-30s coming up for your Sunday under a partly cloudy sky. More snow chances Monday with highs in the low 30s.
If you're a licensed technician and ready to get back to work or make the switch to a rewarding career, then look no further, because Ray Plumbing and Heating is hiring and ready to add you to their family today. For more information, visit rayplumbing.com.
It's good to be back.
Good Morning America this week. The doctors are in.
It's like stepping back in time.
The cast of Scrubs 2.0.
This is a bit of a Good Morning America exclusive because we haven't told anyone this yet.
This week, only on
Good Morning America.
From pop music legends Cyndi Lauper and Broadway's Harvey Fierstein, Kinky Boots, the Tony and Grammy-winning feel-good best musical about seizing your destiny and being who you want to be. Be inspired by the Broadway show that has captured hearts around the world. Kinky Boots, March 3rd, Cross Insurance Center. On sale at Ticketmaster.com.
Keep your next building project on track when you plan ahead with help from Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center specialists offer professional plans with customizable 3D renderings available to bring your project to life. Once your design is finalized and approved, you'll receive a full materials list. And when you buy all your materials from them, Hammond will refund your design fees. Get your building project off to the right start when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Letters flip. The wheel spins round, fortunes rise with every sound. Wheel of Fortune, thrills begin, weeknights to 7, come and win. On ABC 7, let's make it a date. Wheel of Fortune, don't be late. I'm Sue from Garland and I'm a wheel watcher.
If you're a licensed technician and ready to get back to work or make the switch to a rewarding career, then look no further, because Ray Plumbing and Heating is hiring and ready to add you to their family today. For more information, visit rayplumbing.com.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now Now to a growing debate across the country. Should the rich be forced to pay higher taxes? It's one issue dividing even politicians in the same party. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
This morning, a proposed tax on billionaires is turning some Democrats against each other. Senator Bernie Sanders rallying supporters last night in Los Angeles, arguing it's time the ultra-rich pay more.
Never before in American history have we seen the outrageous level of income and wealth inequality we see today.
But California Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing back on the proposal in his state, saying the initiative will drive away the wealth and businesses that keep the state economy strong.
The impact of a one-time tax does not solve an ongoing structural challenge. You would have a windfall one time, and then over the years, you would see a significant reduction in taxes because taxpayers will move.
The one-time 5% tax was proposed by one of California's healthcare unions. It says the money is necessary to prevent a collapse of the state's healthcare system and fund other public services cut by the Trump administration. There's a similar debate across the country in New York City, where Mayor Zohran Mamdani says property taxes could jump by nearly 10%, unless the governor agrees to raise taxes on people earning more than $1 million a year or corporations. He claims it's the only way to close a growing budget gap.
The onus for resolving this crisis should not be placed on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers.
Meanwhile, one of President Trump's economic advisors predicts Americans will be getting some relief this tax season, thanks to Trump's policies. IRS data shows average refunds are up nearly 11% so far this year.
When they get their big tax refund, I think that they'll see that their wallets are doing great at the same time that prices are stabilizing. I think that the economic story is very, very positive.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
National Institutes of Health Director Jay Bhattacharya will take on an additional role. Bhattacharya will temporarily serve as the acting director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, according to an administration official. He will be replacing Health and Human Services Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill, who was appointed as CDC acting director in August of 2025, but was dismissed by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. last week. The transition is the third shift for the CDC leader under President Trump's second term. Former CDC director and Trump appointee Susan Menares was fired in August after just 29 days on the job, after she says she refused to approve new childhood vaccine guidance. Trump administration officials say they plan to find a permanent director for the agency, but that will require Senate confirmation. Bhattacharya, a physician and health economist, will be managing his roles at the NIH and the CDC simultaneously. Now to the latest in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The FBI now exploring whether she might have been taken across the border to Mexico. It comes as investigators continue to analyze DNA found at the home. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has more from Washington.
This morning, new developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The FBI now exploring the possibility Nancy Guthrie was taken across the border into Mexico, just 60 miles from her home. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News there's no evidence she was taken across the border, but it's an avenue investigators are exploring because of the proximity to Tucson.
In this case, an abduction, someone that we're trying to return back to family. It's really important to do this super fast. You just can't afford to wait, weeks. Every day matters.
It comes as investigators are analyzing partial DNA found inside Nancy Guthrie's home that does not match the 84-year-old grandmother or anyone close to her. They're comparing it to criminal databases and looking at forensic genetic genealogy. Last week, the FBI releasing this video of an armed person in a mask appearing to tamper with a security camera in front of the home. The sheriff says authorities have received more than 30,000 tips. ABC News chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky bringing us inside the 911 center in Tucson, where operators are fielding calls.
If there's a tip about Nancy Guthrie, it's coming here.
It's coming here. We've resorted to modifying our questioning and trying to basically get down to the nitty gritty to kind of help vet some of these calls that are coming into the center.
Get to the point.
Get to the point, yes.
And the reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie or her possible captor now totals more than $200,000 after an anonymous donation. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, a Major League Baseball player helps out a fifth grade class, but but not in the way you might think. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
Are plumbing problems giving you a headache? Look no further than Sprague's Plumbing Solutions. With more than 10 years' experience, Sprague's Plumbing Solutions has the knowledge to assist with your plumbing issues. Whether it's a service, remodel, new build, or commercial, we've got you covered. For reliable, professional plumbing services, call Sprague's Plumbing Solutions today for a free estimate. 951-1637. We're here to make your plumbing problems disappear.
Come in and visit AMHG Works, Bangor's #1 gift shop, located at 36 Springer Drive in the Rennie's Plaza. We have special gifts for you, your furry companion, and that special someone you are in need of a gift for. It's worth a trip in for unique American-made gifts. Here at AMHG Works, everything is American-made, and we are open 7 days a week for your convenience. American-made home goods. We look forward to seeing you.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives. Berg Activewear wishes Dexter and all the area schools good luck in the tournaments. Good luck in the tournament to all the area teams from Color Concepts, 840 Hammond Street, Bangor. North Star Waste and Recycling in Brewer wishes good luck to all the area teams in the tournament.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
A very special aquatic gift from not quite beyond the sea has landed inside an elementary school in suburban Atlanta. In fact, it came from inside the home of a nearby Major League Baseball star, all thanks to a few letters that were sent by a 5th grade class just 7 miles from where the Atlanta Braves play. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Swing and a drive, deep right field, Ozzie Albies!
Atlanta Braves infielder Ozzie Albies has multiple All-Star selections, a World Series ring, and as of this month, a classroom in Georgia taking care of his goldfish.
Attendance was so high that week. Like, the kids were coming to school.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you doing? Oh my God.
Strawberry, nice to meet
Ozzie.
you.
Miss Jewel Strawberry's 5th grade class had written letters a few months ago to the Curacao native,
How many exotic monster fishes I have?
who famously loves fish so much he and his wife Andrea own a 6,000-gallon tank. However, the students had only asked for his advice on what kind of fish to get for their class pet.
And he loves to set up
didn't even think
tanks.
twice.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
like,
think twice.
you mean I can set up a tank? And I'm like, I mean, if you want to. He's like, yeah, I want to set up the tank.
Next thing you know, just before spring training, a 2-time Silver Slugger was walking through the halls of Lockheed Elementary with one of his own goldfish in a bucket and a tank.
You did it so easy. Look at that.
Yes, Elijah.
Soon he was showing Elijah how to pour sand into the tank,
How warmer is it? You see how warmer it is?
recruiting Laura to help him get the temperature right,
Go, keep going, keep going, keep going.
and walking Fernando through the proper technique for the bucket-to-tank transfer.
I actually had to pull him out of the class. And I said, hey, we got to go. The kids got to go. Because he would have been there all day if I let him.
In the weeks since, the students have sent Ozzie and Andrea these thank you letters for all their efforts and for coming to their classroom. However, Ozzie knows this ball game is far from over and is already talking about how to move the fish to a bigger tank in a few years.
All you do is transfer everything to the next tank. Done.
All the way up to 6,000.
I don't think 6,000 will fit in the class.
That's the size of the classroom.
For the record, the final 10 minutes of our interview was just Ozzie asking Miss Strawberry how the fish was doing and answering any more questions that she may have about the tank. He really loves fish. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that will be expiring this morning. We've been watching for some active surf that has been occurring along the coast. Meanwhile, as we do move forward, not too bad as we start things off this morning. We will be seeing a lot of sunshine outside yet again. So overall, another nice day to get outside. As we do zoom things out across the northeast, things are looking pretty calm. A little bit of activity farther off to the south and west, but overall, nothing too crazy going on overall. But as we do move things forward, lots of sunshine again today. You may notice a few passing clouds. Overnight, some clouds, maybe some areas of dense fog too. A lot of that going away until about Friday afternoon. We'll get some more clouds moving in. Before today, again, we'll have a few bits of wind, but nothing too ridiculous. That wind backing off as we head towards Thursday evening. But your hourly forecast moving forward, lots of sunshine today. Temperatures in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
At the County Federal Credit Union, we value the trust our members place in us to act in their best interest. Whether it's providing low rates on consumer loans or raising money to end hunger, we work hard to serve our members and the communities in which they live. We are excited to bring the meaningful and impactful work we do to all Mainers as we continue to grow. Wherever you are in life's journey, count on the county to be your financial partner.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With decades of experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location. Patriot Homes in Hancock, your home construction and renovation experts, proudly wish the Ellsworth Eagles good luck in the tournaments. Congratulations to the Hamden Academy teams from Leo & Sons Auto Repair, a family-owned business providing fast and dependable auto repair services. Complete Tire Service Incorporated, your Ellsworth-based tire and repair shop since 1964, would like to congratulate the Ellsworth basketball teams for making it to the tournament.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb, named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. By now, you know the drill. We've got all of Wednesday's tournament action coming for you right now. We'll head to the Cross Center for one of the morning games. It's number 2 Machias versus number 3 Central Aroostook in Class D North. Fireworks in the second half, so we'll pick it up there. Machias is down by 2, but it's a nice dribble and dish from freshman Aubrey Wood to Olivia Reynolds under the basket. It's going to tie this game at 32. Heading into the fourth, Central Aroostook's up 2. Machias' layup will be blocked by Stevie Pierce. They'll get out on the fast break and throw it to a wide-open Maggie Mahan, who lays it in for 2. Machias, however, will turn over on the Jets and never look back. It's Wood again, attacks the paint, steps between 2 defenders, lays it in for 2, moves the lead forward. Just when you thought she was done, this time she'll cut and dribble across the lane, finger rolls in. Machias wins 47-38. Now, this one has been talked about since November. Bangor Christian and Penobscot Valley meeting in the tournament. We pick it up in the second. Mary Allen spots up and knocks down the three-pointer, gives BC a 19-18 lead. But the Howlers would respond immediately. McKenna Ireland hits the 3 to take the lead right back. Time winding down in the second half. Patriots down 4. Rivers Bradford gets the shot off before the buzzer, and it's good. Penobscot Valley is up 2 at the break, but the second half would be all howlers. Abby Farley is going to lay it in on the fast break, and this would be the dagger right here. Lila Cummings is going to drive and take the hit and finish the and one bucket. Then immediately next possession, it's Riley Moulton's turn. She gets the and one of her own, and PVHS takes down undefeated Bangor Christian. Here's Brooklyn Raymond after the win.
It's awesome. We know we've put in the work, and we just kept saying we're going to get the one that matters. So it means a lot to have our community here and just to do this for them. They've supported us through the losses and everything, so it's awesome.
That was incredible. PVHS lost all 3 meetings in the regular season. Well, that was the appetizer. Now we will bring you the Class A semifinals down in Augusta. First Class A game in Augusta was the number 2 Hamden Academy girls taking on the number 3 Camden Hills Windjammers. This one was exciting from the get-go. That's because of plays like this. Grace Labrie is off the mark, but Aubrey Shaw grabs the board and puts it up on the reverse. It falls. What a play, but Camden would actually build themselves an early lead thanks in part to Leah Jones and the triple, but the Broncos fought back and could not miss in the first half. Caitlin Adams right before the half to take the lead. She knocks down the triple. Broncos up 4 at the break. Third quarter, Mallory Lausier gets the steal. She takes it the distance, puts it up, draws contact, and one. Broncos still in front, under a minute left in the fourth. Camden down 3. Jones drives and puts up a mid-range. It's good, 1-point game after a Broncos foul shot. 2 seconds left. Windjammers have one final chance. No good. The Broncos win 41-39.
So good. It's so good to come off of a win like that. Like, we've been working towards that all week. Like, it's just so good to see it finally pay off.
Who will the Broncos face in the regional title? Will it be number 1 Mount Ararat, or can number 4 Edward Little pull off the upset? Eddies started that possibility early, going up 8-0 in the first thanks to this quick catch-and-shoot 3 from Charlotte Ranger, but the number 1 team would not stay down for long. A nice dribble from Kaylee Wag brings them back into the game quickly. First quarter, both teams were on fire offensively. The Eddies go right back to Ranger in the corner, and once again she knocks it down, but the Eagles started to pull ahead at the end of the first half. Callie LeClaire helped send Mount Ararat into the half, up 10 with this corner tray, and in the second, they built on that lead big time. Already up 20 in the fourth, Maeve Aker put on ice with this wing 3, and the Eagles advance with a 69-48 win.
We've played in big games before, and we know how to do this. And our defense, it really fuels our offense. So Petrie called the timeout. She was like, come on, guys, like, you got this. Like, you just have to calm down. So.
Now for the boys slate, starting with number 2 Edward Little taking on number 3 Brunswick for a spot in the regional title game. We pick it up in the first, where Cedric Makalele hands it off to his guy, Cole Maywin, outside the 3-point line, and he hits the bullseye. Puts his team on the board. The Dragons responded with a triple of their own. This one off the hands of Rylan Lay in the corner, launches in. It's good. A few plays later, Logan Gray finishes the acrobatic finish at the net, and he gets through the contact to go along with it. He'd make the N1 bucket, tie the game back and forth we go as Maywin drives to the net with just seconds left in the half. Euro step, and up he goes. He's got it as time expires. The Dragons had what it takes to pull ahead. It started with this nasty move and pull up from Owen McGrath. He fires and scores, and at the end of the game on the transition, Owen Quinn puts the cap on a great semifinal for Brunswick. They upset Edward Little 52-44.
Feel amazing. We lost to Edward Little twice in the regular season, and like our coaches have been saying all week, our revenge tour starts now.
And finally, the number 1 Camden Hills Windjammers take on number 4 Bangor for the chance to take on the Dragons in the regional final. Bangor got off to a hot start thanks to Nate Grunkemeyer, who began with this deep 2-pointer. That one goes down, but he is not done yet. He's right back at it a play later, this time taking it all the way to the rack, adding another 2 points to the scoreboard, but then Camden Hills gets their feet under him. And, of course, it's Nolan Ames who sparks it up. He's up top, steps back, fires, splash. That puts Camden up front, and then he's going to do the exact same thing, but this time as time expires in the first half, he can't be stopped outside the 3-point arc to start the second. Ames goes behind the back, and then the reverse under the net for the insane bucket, and then Bangor responds with Wyatt Chandler. He lofts one up, and it falls down to the wire we go, but Camden would pull ahead in the final minutes, and they advance with a 61-52 win.
I thought as a unit we didn't play as best as we wanted to, but there's more games to be played.
And these last 2 years, we haven't been able to get over the hump of the semifinal. And, you know, this squad, we finally did it.
All right, final breathers. We head back up to Bangor for the Class B semifinals. First boys game of the day was the number 2 Herman Hawks. They take on the number 3 Gardner Tigers to kick off B semis. Second quarter, we go. Gardner is going to be on the break. Brady Peacock is going to feed Trace Moody for the easy 2. Tigers and Moody again. He hesitates and drives to the cup. He's going to lay it in as Gardner takes a 13-6 lead. But here come the Hawks. Brody Hurd spins and gets the acrobatic finish to go to bring it within 1 by the Tigers. They take a 17-12 lead into the break. Second half now. Hawks making their run. Mason Kinney hits the pretty turnaround jumper as they'd bring it within 4. But in the fourth, Gardner would pull away. Brady Atwater hits the 3. Then Nick McKay inserts the dagger with the and 1 under the hoop as Coney wins 50-33. Here was Atwater after the game.
To be honest, well, we really knew we could compete against these boys. We competed against them really well in the regular season back at our home court, and we just needed to bring the energy tonight in our defensive end.
We have a new candidate for game of the tournament. Number 1 Coney taking on number 5 Ellsworth. It was Jackson Berry dominating the paint early. He went to work in the post to put Ellsworth up 2. The Hawks showing that they are here to play now. It's Eli Haller who's going to make a beautiful finish at the rim to keep Ellsworth ahead. But you knew the Rams would respond as Parker Morin steals the ball. He's off to the races, and he's going to slam it home to put Coney up 3. End of the first half, time winding down. Remember this play. Morin is going to put a jumper up as time expires, but the question is, did he get it off in time? They would review it and said he did by tenths of a second. Ellsworth up 1 at the break in the second half. Ellsworth would stay right in it. Bryce Hart drains a big 3 to take a 44-42 lead in the fourth. Coney looking to pull away. Jackson K drains the corner 3 to put the Rams up 59-55. Eagles just wouldn't go away, though. Jackson Berry finishes the fast break layup, ties it at 59. Under 2 minutes, it's Hart again with a big-time 3. He's going to tie it at 62. Now, seconds left. Ellsworth with a chance to win it. Hart is going to get it at the top of the key. He's going to pump, let it fly. Is it good? It is not. The Rams hold on to win and advance to the Class B North final. Here was Morin after the game.
A battle for sure. They know they're a physical team, and we had to meet that physicality. I want it bad, you know. Been on varsity 4 years and just falling short every year, and now we're finally have a chance at the dance.
The first Class B girls semi of the night was the number 3 Lawrence Bulldogs and the upset-minded number 7 Ellsworth Eagles. This one started slow, but Bulldogs getting it going at the end of the first quarters. Peyton Cole buries the 3 to put her team up 3. Ellsworth would answer as Kaylee Bagley feeds Austin Atherton with a great pass as Atherton lays it in for 2. We skip ahead late into the third where Elizabeth Bowles feeds Atherton with a great bounce pass. She lays it in to tie things at 29. But right here in the fourth is where Provo said enough is enough. Not 1 but 2 blocks on the defensive end. Then just a few plays later, she launches a 3 from NBA range to tie it back up at 32. But Ellsworth would not go away easy. Atherton nails the corner 3 to bring her team within 1. Then it's Atherton again with a big-time shot under 2 minutes to bring her team within 2. Lawrence would pull away at the end as Leah Tibbetts lays it in, and the Bulldogs advance to the B North semifinal. Here was Provost after the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a whole team effort. I knew we just needed the spark, and I was going to do whatever it took, and I know my teammates had my back for it.
Who will play the Bulldogs in Class B North? Will be number 1 Gardner or the number 4 seed Presque Isle Wildcats. Tough defense from both sides in the first quarter, but Alexa Quintana gets the ball up in the post, rises over her defender for 2. Later on, it's Quintana again from the other block, shows off great touch off the glass for 2 as we move into the second. And it's still Quintana's game. Gets the block on the defensive end, gets out on the fast break, cuts into the lane, and is going to hit the shot over 2 defenders. Down double digits, Presque Isle will start making a comeback. Ball will get swung to the baseline, creating a passing lane for Morin Young, finishing through contact for the and 1 opportunity. Then it's Madeline Putnam who's left wide open from 3. That is good to go. Tigers respond off the loose ball. Brielena Chasion knocks down the long-range shot from the corner. Less than a minute left in the first half. The Wildcats looking to push the ball, but it's picked off by Molly Takatsu. She'll bring the ball to the foul line, stops and hits the mid-range jumper. Number 1 seed Gardner will move one step closer to Gold Ball Dreams, 46-29. We'll have you covered throughout the week on Fox 22 for Fast Break and right here on ABC. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Good luck, Herman, and all the area basketball teams in the tournament from All That's Metal. Best wishes, Belfast, and all the area teams in the tournament from Colburn Shoe, America's oldest shoe store. Katahdin Federal Credit Union wants to wish the very best to all the teams in the tournament.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all.
Well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing when you finance with GM Financial. Or qualified lessees can get this Silverado pickup for around $399 a month.
I'm at Bob's with our highly rated Beaumont bedroom.
And I'm at the Jensen's, who bought this similar set from the competition.
Both bedrooms use modern manufacturing techniques for durability, but ours has more finishes, headboard lighting, and costs over $1,000 less. Plus, we've got Lincoln, and they've got Fillmore, who literally ran for the Know Nothing Party.
That tracks. When you find the better choice, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Welcome back, everyone. Air Force One will soon get a new all-American look. The U.S. military announced a new color scheme for the president's plane. An updated jet slated to be the new Air Force One will have a red, white, gold, and dark blue paint job. The military also released a sneak peek of the new look, matching an airplane model that has been seen at the Oval Office. Smaller planes used by government officials are also expected to reflect the new colors. Boeing is in the process of modifying 2 of its aircrafts, expected to replace the fleet President Trump currently uses. The president has long tried to update from the plane's Kennedy blue era and white color palette, telling reporters, quote, "We want power blue, not baby blue." Now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
All righty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. All righty, here we go. That small craft advisory will be expiring this morning. We've been dealing with some active surf along the coast, which will be going away rather soon. We're still seeing wave heights at around 3 to 5 feet, so we'll see if they decide to do anything with that, at least beyond 7 a.m. this morning. But for now, though, wave heights even higher further out towards sea at around 3 to even 7 feet at this time. But meanwhile, on land, no issues with clouds or anything. We'll see a lot of sunshine today. You may see a few passing clouds. Otherwise, that's about it. Let's zoom things out, and we're seeing kind of the big picture. Some areas seeing some snow across parts of the upper Midwest, some rain farther down toward the south, a little bit of energy across parts of the Northeast. Nothing too ridiculous at this moment in time. Lots of sunshine for us today, maybe a few passing clouds, some clouds, areas of dense fog, and a couple spots overnight. But as we do head towards your Friday, again, a lot of this will transition to a mostly cloudy sky during the afternoon period. Overnight, Friday night into parts of Saturday, some snow, but a lot of this will stay to the south with a little bit of high pressure, some dry air intrusion to the north, and then again, not looking too bad, again, moving forward from there. So with that dry air intrusion, again, farther off towards the north, again, that area will stay dry. Farther down toward the south, a little bit of snow. They could see 1 to 3 inches there. Further off towards the north and east, a whole lot less, and nothing once you get toward this area. area. But for today, here's what we're looking at. So mostly sunny, mid-30s, northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. By tonight, 6 degrees, partly cloudy, northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. And then we move ahead towards tomorrow, mid-30s. We get more clouds in here, mostly cloudy, northeast wind at about 5 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. So by Friday night, we'll get that snow in here with low temperatures near 7 degrees. By Saturday, the snow is out of here and mostly sunny. Highs in the low 30s, mid-30s coming up for your Sunday under a partly cloudy sky. More snow chances Monday with highs in the low 30s.
From pop music legend Cyndi Lauper and Broadway's Harvey Fierstein, Kinky Boots, the Tony and Grammy-winning feel-good best musical about seizing your destiny and being who you want to be. Be inspired by the Broadway show that has captured hearts around the world. Kinky Boots, March 3rd, Cross Insurance Center. On sale at Ticketmaster.com.
Most business problems start with one thing: unreliable technology. Digital Brains monitors, protects, and maintains your entire IT environment, keeping everything running flawlessly. When your technology works for you, your business starts thriving. Faster service, happier clients, more productivity, less stress. Clients don't wait, neither should you. Contact Digital Brains today for your free technology assessment. Digital Brains, we help people feel free. Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With decades of experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
I'm RJ Decker, Florida's most lovable PI.
What's up, Arch?
Dewey.
Are you in this place? You were made for each other.
What do you mean, the bar?
Florida.
You couldn't get rid of her. I was like, look, you gotta go. Why didn't you just leave? He wanted you to leave. You were like gum under his shoe. He couldn't get rid of you.
Hot Bench. Thursday at 3 on ABC 7.
New York City Police Department harbor officers swoop in to help a bird in need yesterday morning. Body camera footage shows officers arrive on scene in the Hudson River to help a bald eagle stranded on a sheet of ice. Video shows the eagle crying out in distress as officers used a catch pole to lure the bird, whose claw was bleeding, to safety. According to officials, the eagle was taken to a New Jersey animal sanctuary to recover there. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
It's tournament time and ABC.
More. A bank with innovative products or one that cares for the community? At Bangor Savings Bank, we think it's both because our innovation helps customers build stronger credit, earn rewards when shopping local, give teens independence and financial experience, and simplify business with local solutions. So what matters more? You.
A sharp pain in his chest. He knew it was his heart, but 2 hours from the big city hospital could tragically mean the end. But it wasn't. Thanks to Senator Susan Collins' tireless fight for Maine's rural hospitals. Because of Senator Collins' work, his local hospital had recently received up-to-date diagnostic equipment and upgraded facilities, all paid for with new federal funding. Lives are being saved. Call and thank our Senator Susan Collins for delivering this lifeline for Maine.
Did you know CancerGuard can help screen for multiple cancers?
Good to know.
It's one simple blood test.
Uh-huh. Good to know.
Nearly 70% of cancers diagnosed have had no routine screening. Until now.
Wait, what? Huh.
CancerGuard helps detect over 50 cancers, like pancreatic, ovarian, and lung, even before symptoms appear.
That really is good to know.
New CancerGuard from the makers of Cologuard. Knowing means everything.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
congratulations! You have built the perfect line! I'm Deborah Norville, and this is the perfect line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the second victim of a gas leak incident at the Woodland Pulp Mill has now been identified. Plus, the Belfast City Council passed a proposal to increase ambulance service rates for neighboring towns under contract. We'll have more on that coming up. And Troy Jackson, who's running for governor, met with voters last night in Orono. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. For the weather today, it looks like it'll be another sunny day with temperatures in the 30s. Let's start out this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much.